And I remember as kids saying, "Ding darling, ding darling."
It's a name that resonated as a source of creativity and ideas.
It's kind of a musical name.
Ding's involvement with clubs and groups didn't end with college. He belonged to the Isaac Walton League, one of the country's original conservation organizations, helped start the Men's Garden Clubs of America, and later, after he had worked in Washington, started what is now the National Wildlife Federation. The National Wildlife Federation has grown into a large national organization that really reaches out to kids as part of its mission.
He knew that his time in government was short and that he really needed to have an organization to give voice to wildlife. And so he convinced the President of the United States, FDR, to call the first National Wildlife Conference. And it was in that conference that he formed the National Wildlife Federation. Darling sent out invites to sportsmen and other conservation leaders across America to bring them together to this conference. In launching the National Wildlife Federation, had told the assembled delegates that 1,000 stallions unconnected could not move a baby carriage. And it was his way of describing the fact that all these conservationists, well-intended as they were, if they weren't willing to connect to one another, weren't willing to be a part of something bigger, that they weren't going to be able to even move a baby carriage. And so it was a very poignant description of the moment that he was seeing in front of him. And that was true. People cared, but they weren't connecting their cares to others who also cared. These people came together really out of their passion for nature to identify those groups that were already in existence and bring them into the fold, and to form a nationwide network of conservation leaders who could work together to pass important legislation. Darling understood that if you could get federal funding locked in and then require that the states lock in their money too, that you could get a long-term funding source for fish and wildlife. And it's without a doubt the most significant wildlife funding source that we have even to this very day. The National Wildlife Federation honors the memory of Ding Darling each year with the Ding Darling Award. It's for people who have demonstrate outstanding achievement in the field of conservation and environmental protection, and particularly those who have a love for nature and who express that through their works. In 2011, National Wildlife Federation honored Robert Redford for his lifelong achievement in the field of conservation. You know, Redford has demonstrated throughout his career that he cares about nature, and he's never been timid about expressing that passion that he has for nature.
Not only is the duck stamp contest going strong, there's a junior duck stamp contest as well. It was started in the early 1990s in a Sanibel, Florida school by teacher Jay Boswell, and now it's gone national. It's a great chance for kids to develop their art skills and learn about nature at the same time. This is a painting by Jefferson Jones from Florida. With stiff competition, he's won the Florida Duck Stamp Contest 3 consecutive times now. In 2012, there were over 1,600 entries.
Ding Darling understood that children were a part of the overall equation for nature, but he also understood from his own life experience that you need to start in nature. You need to have that natural connection that kids forge when they are spending time either fishing, hunting, or hiking, or just being out of doors. And as we lose those important connections, we have less understanding and less appreciation of what our duty is as stewards.
It used to be that everybody could read The Hand of Nature, that was the last thing you would teach in school. Now, when nobody can read The Hand of Nature, we've got to make sure that it's being taught, not just on Earth Day, but on a regular, in the schools. And that's where you create the new generation of future environmentalists That's why the great program of the isn't that Ding Darling did a duck stamp. It's kids today emulating Ding Darling, trying to do their own duck stamp. That's what's exciting, of bringing in the new generation and let them know that they too can be a hero of conservation in their life.
I think the young people can follow in Darling's footsteps and really become heroes of the environment just by doing very basic things, by noticing nature, by getting involved in projects like the Junior Duck Stamp program. And I think that just by doing things like that really don't start out looking very huge and something heroic, it'll eventually turn into a lot of times lifetime commitments. I think that art in the Junior Duck Stamp program and the Federal Duck Stamp program can connect other people outside of those programs and encourage them to get involved, and that may lead to further wanting to know about the habitat or the species, and that could really lead down to conservation.